Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the National Weather Service Atlanta office's weekly weather briefing. I'm Sid King, and I'll be giving you an overview of the weather concerns we can expect in the coming week. We'll begin by taking a look at the current conditions and map analysis of the U.S. I know this looks like a lot to digest at first, but we only have a couple of areas of interest that we're focused on. Those will be the main drivers of our weather in the next week. The first thing is a deepening low is approaching from the southwestern United States, centered here over northern Texas. Out ahead of it, we have warm, moist Gulf air that's moving in a train into our area. You may have noticed the increase of humidity and cloud cover through our area as well, and that's picking up ahead of this system as it moves into the area. This deep moisture axis is going to set up a wet Friday and Saturday as that low and an associated cold front down here drop down into the area as well. This is going to set up a wet Friday and Saturday, and the precipitation is going to move out early Sunday as a clear, dry pattern sets up through the midweek. So this stable air mass across the Rocky Mountains is going to drop down to the southeast, and that's going to be the main driver in our weather in the early parts of next work week. So here's an idea of how that shapes things up for the next 7 days. These are point forecasts for Rome, Atlanta, and Macon. So we first see the pretty much 100% chance of rain starting tonight and going into Friday, and then that's going to abate starting late Saturday and then start to further trail off on Sunday. And then in the next week, you have clear, fair skies, highs in the mid-50s, lows in the mid to low 30s throughout our area in the early parts of next week. So let's dive a little deeper and take a look into the wet couple of days we have in store and that we're anticipating starting tonight and going into Saturday. So rain chances tonight ahead of the approaching storm system increase. Here's a look on the map down here to the right on what we're going to be looking at about late tomorrow. And that's going to be you're going to see another low sort of forming in our area ahead of the surface low as that low becomes closed off. That has the cold front sweeping into the southern parts of our area, the warm front moving into the central part, and that's going to provide sort of a focus for some of that convective activity. We're also going to have sufficient instability for thunder on Friday and Friday night. So we could have some thunderstorms associated with the heavy rain we'll be getting as well. There is a marginal risk of severe weather tomorrow. In the previous outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, for today, we don't have any of that getting here yet, but there is a bit of severe weather potential tomorrow where we have some of that instability. For the most part right now, they're determining it's going to stay in the southeastern parts of our area. But remember that the severe potential is not totally confined to the Storm Prediction Center's marginal risk area. And it's possible that we could see even an isolated strong to severe storm in the northern parts of our area as well. So during this time where we have the most instability coinciding with the deepest moisture, isolated severe storms could produce damaging wind gusts in any severe storms that occur, and also periods of heavy rain. And then on Saturday, most of the severe potential, that axis of instability, will have moved off to the north. We'll still have some rain, but there's no real severe weather outlook at that time. Now, speaking of the heavy rain, here is our rainfall outlook from days 1 through 3 from when this event is going to be taking place. In the northern parts of our area, we're expecting to see between 3/4 and 1.5 inches of rainfall. And then in the southern parts of our area, generally between 1.5 and 2.5 inches across those areas. And this is going to be through Saturday. The heaviest rain can be expected throughout the day Friday as well. Although this event will persist till Saturday, the bulk of these rainfall amounts will be throughout the day tomorrow. So although it says 1 through 3, the majority of that precipitation is just going to be tomorrow. And it's also worth mentioning that where some severe and stronger storms can occur, there could be locally higher amounts possible, along with some isolated flooding. As far as the excessive rainfall potential goes, there's a marginal risk throughout much of our area, which is about a 5 to 10% chance of some areas seeing some localized flash flooding. And then in the far southeastern parts where there's the most access of moisture and the deepest of that Gulf moisture, you're expecting a slight chance, about a 10 to 20% chance of rain or of flooding rainfall in that southeastern corner of our county warning area. So we had some concerns in the last several days about river flooding. The river flooding concerns by this point have mostly abated. About 25 locations late last week were in flood stage, at least minor flood, but now only 3 remain in flood stage as of this morning. However, with some residual moisture in the soils and also some runoff flow occurring, the potential for heavy rain throughout the weekend could also contribute to some more river flooding, especially in those areas that we mentioned on the last slide in south and central Georgia, where between 1.5 and 2.5 inches are expected. Those could also see some rivers in that area go into flood stage Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. And then there's a look at the precipitation forecast as well, overlaid with the river conditions as well. So with the moisture and the rainfall expected, this begs the question of what the outlook is for winter weather. And throughout our forecast period, temperatures remain above freezing throughout our area until about Tuesday morning. No precipitation is expected while temperatures are below freezing as well. There was an area of concern with some wraparound precipitation on the back end of the cold front on Sunday, which was potential to affect the northeastern parts of the state. So here's the lows Sunday morning along with the chances of precipitation. And the low temperatures aren't expected to drop below the mid to upper 30s that time. So we don't expect any winter weather concerns on the back end of this system. And then later on in the week when we are below freezing, we're not anticipating any rainfall at that time. So overall, no winter weather concerns are expected through the period. As far as fire weather is concerned, here are minimum relative humidity and maximum wind gusts for the next 3 days. The minimum humidity today is only going to get down into the 50%, so far outside of critical thresholds. And then with the rainfall and heavy moisture tomorrow, we have relative humidity is only bottoming out in the 80% and 70% Saturday and tomorrow and Saturday. So with those increasing humidity and rain chances with the approaching storm system, we're not expecting any short-fuse fire weather concerns. So let's sum everything up for the week and bring it all home. What this all adds up to are the main areas of concern for the week. The deepening low-pressure system approaching from the west is going to lead to rain chances beginning to increase tonight and remaining through late Saturday and early Sunday. The highest potential for thunder and severe weather is going to be on Friday, and then the isolated strong to severe storms that occur during that time could produce damaging wind gusts on top of some of the heavy rains. The deep moisture that's already moving into our area is going to contribute to heavy rainfall through the area. Heaviest rain is expected to be across the southern parts of our area between about 1.5 to about 2.5 inches, and the marginal to slight chance in those areas for some localized flooding, especially in the southern parts of our area. And while river flooding has mostly abated, it is possible for some more river flooding to occur after this weekend's heavy rain. Despite some wraparound concern from the precipitation behind the cold front, we don't expect any winter weather concerns through the next 7 days. And finally, no critical fire weather concerns are expected due to the increasing humidity and the rainfall through tomorrow and Saturday. So that concludes the weekly weather briefing. Here's our contact information if you ever need to get in touch with us. All of us here at NWS Atlanta office would like to thank you all for your attention and your patience, and we hope you have a great week.